About the history of darts, not a great deal is known for certain. It's commonly assumed that the game of darts was a logical outgrowth of archery, and arrows were often called darts. In the verse of Scottish poet Robert Burns, in which the darts is Cupid's arrow, today the opposite is true, for it is quite common to hear arrows used as slang for darts. The game of darts in its basic form was born as a sporting game in English public houses, pubs, about a few hundred years ago. The first darts resembled short handheld arrows, and the first dartboards were corks and processed sections of trees or the bottoms of beer barrels. From these early improvised dartboards, the configuration of the modern dartboard were created. The concentric circles and spider pattern of wires of the modern dartboards resembled weathered cross sections of wood patterns. Today, the bullseye is still called cork. The history of the game as we know it today in the United States is relatively short, although there are original reports that the game of darts arrived in New York with the Mayflower pub, a game called butts, using small hand-thrown arrows. The history of darts in America really begins sometime in the late 19th when the immigrants from England brought the game to America. For decades, though the said game was only known in the pubs that were frequented by those immigrants because of its national origin. The term English darts is still used by many when referring to the modern game using the board, equipment, and the games. In England, during the early decades of the 20th century, the popularity of darts grew steadily as a sporting pastime in the pubs. In fact, in 1908, darts was officially elevated to a game of skill when a pub owner in Leeds, England, was called before the city magistrates for allowing an illegal game of chance to be played in his establishment. As legend has it, the proprietor went to court with dartboard and darts in hand and proceeded to throw three darts at a designated numbered segment of the board. He then challenged an officer of the court to match his throw. Not surprisingly, the court clerk could not match the accurate throw, and the judge immediately dismissed the case since the game of darts was obviously not a game of chance at all, but a game of skill. Gradually, this game of skill gathered greater numbers of enthusiastic players in England. More and more pubs put up dartboards, and naturally, local organizations and leagues developed. The first of many national organizations, the National Darts Association, was formed in England in 1924 to sponsor tournaments. In 1927, the News of the World newspaper began sponsoring a local competition in London. These later grew into regional and national tournaments. By 1938, the game was so popular that it even entered the tense wartime political arena. In the interest of the domestic stability, it is said that Scottish magistrates decided to ban the game in pubs on the questionable assumption that it fostered bad habits among the working classes. The public outcry was loud and the ban never took effect. In the years since World War II, Dart has enjoyed tremendous international growth. Of great importance to this post-war boom were the enormously popular News of the World tournaments, which were held annually in England from 1947 to 1990. Through the 50s and the 60s, local and national tournaments in Great Britain continued to reach larger audiences. In America and elsewhere, the game grew steadily. By the mid 1970s, darts had become so popular in Great Britain that tournaments were first televised to a wide and appreciative audience. With this increased visibility of the game as played by professionals and growing amateur enthusiasm, darts took off. National and international tournaments attracted more players and larger prizes. Almost simultaneously, major national organizations were formed to govern these tournaments, attract greater sponsorship, and promote the sport. The British Darts Organization was founded in 1973, the American Darts Organization in 1975, the National Darts Federation of Canada in 1977, the Darts Federation of Australia in 1976, and dozens of other national organizations from South Africa to Japan to Brazil, and virtually all the European countries were created to help establish tournaments and promote the sport. Almost all these national organizations are members of the World Darts Federation (WDF), founded in 1976, which is recognized as the official governing body for most international competitions. One of the legendary highlights of darts' recent growth in popularity was British professional John Lowe throwing the first televised perfect 9-dart 501 game in the MFI World Match Play Championship in 1984. Like pitching a perfect game in baseball, a perfect 501 game is a feat of astounding skill and consistency. 9 consecutive darts must be hit specific targets areas on the board that are about the size of a paperclip. This historic feat was matched in 1990 again in Great Britain and on BBC when American professional Paul Lim, representing the American Darts Organization, became the second person to throw a televised perfect 9-dart 501 game in the Embassy World Professional Darts Championship. Since the 1970s, the game of darts has spread rapidly across Europe and Americas. There are hundreds of tournaments every year, each offering a surprising amount of prize money. In pubs and restaurants, in big cities and small towns alike, there are local leagues and matches, and many of these amateur players aspire to the rapidly growing ranks of professionals. As the general popularity of the game grows and the professional arena swells, offered by dart product manufacturers, brewing companies, and other corporations, today professionals compete for more than 1 million in prize money annually in the United States only. But even with the television coverage, more tournaments, greater prize money, growing organizations, and rapid expansion of the local event, the game of darts still owes a great deal to its simple origin in the pubs of England. For therein lies much of the enduring history and the traditions of the game. The standard international dart board, also known as the clock board, it is 18 inches in diameter and has 20 numbered pie-shaped segments. They are all equal in size and plus the bullseye. Each number segment has a double ring on the outer perimeter of the scoring area, an interior triple ring, which count double and triple of that number respectively. The bullseye has an outer bull area, also known as a single bullseye, which scores 25, doubles and triples. And the bullseye is scoring 50 points in the 501 game. For steel-tip darts, the best dartboards available are Bristol boards, which are made by a number of reputable manufacturers. Equipment are also available at sporting goods or dart supply stores. These dartboards are made from millions of tightly packed thread-like plant fibers bound by a 2-inch steel band with thin wires attached to separate the segments of the scoring surface. Less expensive dartboards are made of paper, cork, or other porous composite materials are available and may be suitable for occasional home use, but Bristol dartboards are the standard in all national and international tournaments and local league competitions. A good Bristol dartboard will last months, even years, depending on the amount of the play, as long as it's not exposed to extreme heat or moisture. Over the past few years, soft tip or electronic darts, as they are commonly called, have become increasingly popular. Today, many people are discovering darts for the first time on dartboards attached to electronic coin-fed scoring machines in taverns and restaurants. Their popularity has spawned leagues and tournaments worldwide. The board has the same numbers, same configuration, and the dimensions as the Bristol board, but it is made of durable, hard plastic or nylon. With hundreds of small holes in it, the thin, hard nylon point of the special soft tip darts sticks in the holes of the board. With electronic boards, the dart tip triggers an electronic response and the score appears on the lighted display. Steel tips cannot be used on these boards. Choosing the right board for you is not too hard nowadays. Just a few years ago, the Bristol board was the primary choice, and it is still the favorite of traditionalists and the standard for all major international tournaments. Today, though, the growing popularity and the availability of soft tip darts, players have a choice. Try to play on both before you make your decision and see which kind of darts play you like best. Also, if you're interested in joining a league, you should probably choose the type of board the league plays on. When you buy a new dartboard, the first thing you'll do is to set it up. The height of the board is 173 centimeters from the center of bullseye to the ground, and the throwing distance is 237 centimeters from the surface of the board to the throwing line. To mark the throwing line on the floor, a piece of tape will do. Also, nowadays, there are laser throwing line markers are available, such as this one. Major tournaments, however, are played with a hockey, also spelled OCHE and pronounced OK, which is a thin raised strip of wood approximately 40 centimeters in length and 4 centimeters in height. When you try to mount a new dartboard to the wall, the number 20 should always be on top, and number 20 should always be in the dark section of the pie. Most dartboards come with an instruction and mounting bracket that easily attaches to the wall at the correct height. Since darts often bounce out of the board, never put a board up near windows or breakables or where anyone could accidentally walk into the playing area between the throwing line and the dartboard. Usually, a good Bristol dartboard never needs a care. However, Bristol dartboards should be regularly rotated as they get worn from the play, like this. The metal or plastic ring surrounding the board that holds the numbers is attached by a small bracket series that can easily be moved. Since dartboards can wear irregularly, with the highest number 20, always everybody shooting at that area, usually receiving the most use. Rotating this ring periodically will lengthen the life of the board. Do not forget rotating the number ring, and the 20 should again be placed at the top and should always be a dark section of the board. A Bristol board not in use should be stored in a box in a cool, dry place to avoid warpage. With any type of board, if it gets worn or broken to the point that it affects your game, it should be replaced. Also, do not leave your darts on the scoring area, which will press and reshape the bristles. Darts are available in many different sizes, styles, and weights. And the serious dart player may experiment with the many different darts before finding the right set. However, there is no wrong or right type of dart. The right darts are the ones that feel comfortable to the player as long as they are within official specifications. Maximum weight of 50 grams and maximum length of 30 centimeters. Some very good dart players use inexpensive brass darts and others play with expensive, even custom made models. Although some inexpensive darts do not come in components, all better darts are made of assembled components so that if they should break from the dart bouncing out of the board or being hit by other darts, they can be easily repaired. This also allows the new player to experiment with different shafts and flights. Basic components of a standard dart are in three parts. First one is the barrel. Second one is the shaft. Third one is the flight. In case of electronic darts, also the tip part can be removed and replaced with a soft tip. Since these parts can break or bend and need to be replaced, they are available in many sizes, lengths, colors, and types of materials such as nylons, metals, and combination of these two. The flight is the colorful feathers of the dart, and it fits into the pre-cut slots on the top of the shaft. Also, from the long time ago, which used turkey feathers to produce a flight, there are still some being sold with real feathers on them, but they're usually made of nylon, plastic, uh, and polyurethane. And you should experiment with several styles before purchasing a set. If this is not possible, your first set of darts should simply feel comfortable in your hand and not to be too expensive. Should you decide to change, and believe me when I say you will change, the least expensive darts are usually made out of brass. Today, thinner, more streamlined darts are made of heavier metals, usually a tungsten alloy, are most popular with the league and tournament players. These thinner darts are more comfortable to throw for many and they allow the best precision, trying to fit all three together in number 20's triple section. The most common weights are 14 to 30 grams, but lighter and heavier models are also available. Most sporting goods or dart supply stores or catalogs offer a variety of accessories. Among the most useful are the following: a rubber mat, A mat is good idea on especially hard floors. The standard mat is about 80 centimeters wide and about 3 meters long. It also has the advantage of the throwing line being clearly marked on the mat. A cabinet or a backboard, like this one. Some sort of backboard should be placed behind the dartboard to protect the walls, either by mounting the board in a dartboard cabinet or by placing some protective cover behind the board. Most stores that sell dart supplies carry sturdy fabric covered backboards, but there are also do-it-yourself options. Most cabinets have scoreboards on the doors, and some come in with built-in lights. A scoreboard, a basic blackboard or a whiteboard will do for scoring, but other scoreboards are also available that use computers. Nowadays, tablets and laptops are used for scoring at home and pub start plays. In some cabinets, the games of cricket and 501 are already lined and printed on the cabinet's walls so that you can choke them in the cabinet itself. Also, the illumination of the dartboards is very important. Uh, New accessories like ring-shaped lights are available, or other than that, you can use light boxes with fluorescents or LEDs inside them. As the number of dart players grows, manufacturers and players are developing new and often better styles of darts and innovations in dartboards. Among the more popular are the retractable point darts. These steel tip darts, commonly called hammerheads, power points, and other similar brand names, have points that automatically retract slightly when they hit the board, which makes the deflection less likely. Bounce outs from the boards damage darts and the floors. The convertible dart tips, just like I have shown you before, you can buy a single set of darts and use it as a soft tip or a steel tip dart, just changing the tip of the darts. Recently, manufacturers are experimenting with different styles, balances, grips of darts, like this one, which has a higher density in the front and lower in the back, but its barrel is slim like a pipe. These kind of innovations are coming from the dart producers every day. For the grip of the dart, there are a lot of options, like coating it with a plasma coated metal surface, which makes the grip stronger, or machine cuts just for you to hold, or some grooves which you can place your specific fingers, and things like that. Professional practice dartboards or championship boards are also another accessory. These have quadruple areas or smaller triple or double areas. These kind of dartboards are only for practice. When you practice with a smaller target area, when you play in the competition in the larger area, it usually increases the frequency of your triple hitting.